Father Abrial worked very, very hard and tirelessly to raise funds. Now I will share with you the kind of life that I had to lead when I went to the Church of the Risen Christ. First and foremost, we didn't even have a cook. So every day we had to go out to eat. And because Father Abrial was so, overwhelmed raising funds, that he was apparently appeared to be very, very tight-fisted. So even when it came to food, we had hardly like maybe one meal a day. And in the night, what was he eating and what he expected to me to eat as a young priest was, in the night, he made a cup of black coffee and he just took bread and he soaked the bread in the black coffee and he just ate that, and that was the meal for the evening. And as a young priest, when I went there, I was definitely upset by it because, in my own family, I don't think so I ever had to experience such kind of life with him. And I remember distinctly, one day we went for a meal and he ordered one packet of ho fan, wrapped in those, what they call upe, those banana leaf. And it was one packet, but both of us had to share. We had to eat of this one packet of noodles. And he told me, you're very lucky to have such nice food to eat. And he was a missionary in China previously. And so he was sharing with me. He said, in China, very often we didn't even have food to eat. We lived in mud houses that were pasted together with mud. And he was telling me life was very, very difficult. And so while we were eating and sharing this one packet of noodles, he was telling me, you are very lucky and so fortunate to have such a grand meal. And of course, I was young at that time. It was not something that was so palatable for me to accept. And fortunately, I still had my family. So practically every other day, I had to go home and my mother provided and gave me meals. But at that time, I did not quite understand the difficulty of Father Abrial. But later on, many years later, one night when I came back late at night, I don't know where I came back, but I came back late at night, something like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I saw Father Abrial walking around in the compound. And I did ask him, I said, why did somebody break into the church? Why are you not sleeping? And then the first time I was really touched and I really felt such a great sympathy for him, he turned around to me and he said, I can't sleep. I'm suffering from, I really cannot sleep. I'm so worried. And the reason was, he told me, he said, the contractors are all after me and I don't have the money to pay. And, he said, and when he told me that, I realized this poor man had sacrificed so much. And as I say, he was even like, even for meals also, he was really like cutting down. And he himself, eating just a slice of bread with black coffee. So as I say, I have a great respect for Father Abrial now, even when I think about this, and at that time, when earlier on, I began to think that, because people used to make a lot of statements saying that he was money-faced because, he was very careful with money, he was very tight with money, and so on. But later on, when he told me that and how he told me what he was going through, I began to realize that, he was a great man and a man who made great sacrifices for the people of Toa Payoh. And I hope that the people of Toa Payoh today will remember this pastor who really built and struggled and built this church today. And if you have a church today there, it is someone who really worked very, very hard, to raise this church. As I say, the younger generation may not understand today when there's such a lot of wealth and money. Sometimes they just spend money so easily, without realizing that, well, there were people, missionaries who had gone through, and as I say, I also had to go through that. At that time, I didn't realize it, There was nothing, there was no luxury or trapeze, things. I remember when I first went there also, when the rain came, it was all leaking. The room, I was sleeping right on the top of something like an attic.
Just recently built?
Yeah, it was recently built, and I think, when the rain came, it was beating in, and, the whole floor used to be wet and almost. So one day I remember turning around to Father Abrial and said, the room is all flooding, but he said, what do you want me to do? So I had to just keep quiet and try to get plastic to put here and there, plastic sheets to keep the rain out when it was. So as I say, the initial years of the parish of the Risen Christ were very tough years. As I say, Father Abrial made very great sacrifices. As I say, he never received any foreign funds, and as I say, he saved, and he built a very good, the structure that was there. Father Abrial, as a person, is a very shy person. He does not speak very much, and he will not speak to you very much if he does not know you. But when he knew me, over the years, as I said, when I first went there, I felt a bit, young as I was, then I was a bit nervous about relating with him. But over the years, when I came to know him, he began to open up, and he was a very, very, as I say, dedicated, hardworking pastor. He really served God's people. He did his best for. That's why I say, hopefully that the people of Toa Payoh will always remember this, the one who started the parish, and remember that this was the man who, if at all what they have today, is this man who actually labored for many, many years with them and cared for them. He didn't think about himself, but he thought of the people. As I say, the sacrifice, as I say, in the first years, what was he eating? Just black coffee with a slice of, with the bread soaked in the black coffee, and eating like that in the kitchen, And the most was an apple. And that was the meal that he was having. But nobody knew, Many people never knew all this. As I say, both of us sitting down and eating one packet of me, and both of us sharing half. Yeah.
You never had that after you
And I'm like, I thought, I couldn't believe it. And he's telling me, what a wonderful meal you're having. And I was thinking, my goodness, my father and mother gave me better meals at home. And I'm sitting down and eating this bundle of me, and he's telling me, oh, what a wonderful man. He's telling me about his days in China, how he's, there's hardly any food to eat, they're living in mud houses, and this and that and all that. My goodness, I was thinking, God.